Hi, I'm going to review the PEX plumbing that I put in last July actually. And right behind me you could see that the poured concrete behind me, that's because a car drove into our house last July 2nd, 4th of July weekend. Right around midnight, took off running, yeah, the whole spiel. Had to get an 8-foot section of my 10-inch thick poured concrete foundation wall cut out, 8 foot by like 5 foot high. Yeah, it was a real fiasco. The guy Mason did a great job, but I just want to kind of show you, I put in this PEX plumbing temporarily. I was going to put copper back in, and I'm pretty impressed with this PEX, so I'm going to show you what I did. So this is not a how-to video, okay? There's plenty of videos showing you how to use PEX. Actually, this cabinet here, I just cut it down because there used to be an arch on here. That actually was holding the wall up, the breached wall, because there used to be a basement window here. And it wouldn't have breached if the window wasn't there. We didn't even put the window back in. There's plenty of basement windows down here, but this cabinet, I still kind of use it for stuff. So washer and dryer, I'm going to kind of show you, but there's the new wall in the background. I could paint it, don't feel like it. So I used the PEX tubing and all these Sharkbite fittings. Now this is where I had to put my washer. There's the cold there. I just capped it off. I just left the connection there instead of putting in a new piece of tubing, or I could have removed the T and put a coupling in there. I just left it. Nothing's leaking. I just left it alone. But the Sharkbites, the ball valves, they're expensive. They're like 24 bucks at Home Depot, something like that. Put 2 of them in. But the Sharkbites really work well connecting to the 1/2-inch copper. So I'm really impressed. I haven't had a single drop of a leak. So the PEX plumbing, I just put in the red and the blue to designate them for the washer, and then I got the Sharkbite shut-off valves here. But I'm impressed, man. If you do this right, you use the rigid cutter, or get yourself a good blade cutter, but you have to cut that PEX square. You have to cut it square. Got to pay attention when you're seating the tubing in here in this tool and cutting it. You got to make sure it's square. Okay. I'm happy with the rigid tool. There's the Sharkbite, you know, to set your depth, and also it trims. Here it is. See here? See this little hole here? You know, you spin this around. You spin this around on your tubing after you cut it. Make sure that the tubing is cleaned all the way around. There's no burrs on the outside and on the inside. Now this is another tool I bought. Yeah, you know, it works. You got to use this lightly though. You know, it's a Husky. You got to use this lightly because the tubing wants to kind of offset on this, but it's just a deburring tool. You just run it like very lightly. Don't use any pressure. It's just got to be smooth on the inside and on the outside. These tongs, I don't know. I don't like them. They're okay, I guess. This is just a used coupling I removed. But that's what it looks like on the inside. Actually, you could go on the Sharkbite website and you could see the actual, how it grips the tubing or the copper tubing or the PEX tubing. Pretty impressive. These should last like 20 years, I've read, or longer, in my opinion. I think they could last just as long as copper. Got myself a spare shut-off valve here, just in case one of these fails. They're expensive though. This is the tool that comes with the fittings. You know, you have to, like, if you want to remove one of these, you have to depress this collar here. You gotta depress the collar with either the tongs or the collar, and a lot of guys online do use different things, but this has got to be, the collar's got to be depressed, and then you pull out the PEX with your other hand. Not that complicated, but I'll tell you, when you get older and you don't got that strength in your hands, that could be a little complicated there. You know, and be careful with this deburring tool, because if you put the tubing in here and you press too hard, you know, it's going to kind of like chip away. This is going to like chip away out at the outer edge of your PEX tubing. Once you cut it nice and clean, you could ruin it with this, so you want to be light-handed. But this is, make sure you use this for your depth. Mark your tubing. Make sure when you push this into the fitting that it lines up with your depth line. But like I said, yeah, I'm impressed. Now, this is because our concrete wall was breached. We had rigid copper tubing, and that's what we have through the rest of the house. But you know, this little situation here with that copper offset there, I had to put like a Sharkbite 45 on there, and then a 90L just to kind of get it going in this direction. And this was just going to be temporary, and I just decided to keep it permanent. So what I did was I just put a T in here and branched over, dropped down with a couple 90s, put a couple shut-off valves in there, and good to go. So like I said, no leaks. So if you take your time and pay attention, you should not have a single leak with the PEX tubing, and most importantly, the Sharkbites. So thanks for watching.